some of us are made nervous by telling people that they can't receive Holy Communion. But what I've found is that even in the last 5 years, that's changed because I've noticed this with weddings and funerals. You basically have to make the announcement.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you'll just have a bunch of people who are confused.
Yes.
And I think that this is one way in which the kind of kindness culture of a younger generation than ours is to our advantage.
Yes.
So the way that I formulate the announcement now before distribution of Holy Communion is we've arrived at the point in the Catholic Mass where people will come forward to receive Holy Communion. For some of you, it's a kind of confusing part of the Mass because you don't know whether to join the line, you don't know what to do at the front of the line, and yeah, it can be intimidating. So don't worry. If you're not Catholic or if you're not practicing, you can remain in your pew, or you can come forward, just cross your arms, receive a blessing, and then I might explain. Like the Catholics believe that the Eucharist is this, and that means this, and that. But it's like you can kind of set people at ease.
Yes.
And I think that like
So much.
that's the new paradigm in which to explain it, because I think people are just nervous about comportment. I don't think that the majority of people are angry at being excluded. I would say for an older generation who are fallen away or non-practicing Catholics, or who are Protestants who have been in situations like this often and then have developed a sense of what they think ought to be, then it might be a little more tense. But in general, I would say it's not that tense.
No.
And I'd say that you, as someone inviting to Mass, can do something similar.
Yep.
And say like you said, 5 minutes, this is the kind of general flow of things. You might try to follow along. Here's a Magnificat for you.
Those little things are huge.
Yeah, but like you don't have to follow along. The point isn't 100% comprehension. The point is 100% immersion.
Right.
So you can let people, let the mystery of the Mass speak for itself to a certain extent. But say at the end, it's communion time, and you don't have to worry. You can just sit, pray, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
And I think that people respond well to that.
No, those are the types of things that like. You kind of mentioned just the clarity of explaining what to do in those situations. I found, people are so thankful because when they come to a Catholic funeral or a Catholic wedding that I've done before, and I've given those kind of very clear instructions, they're like, "Oh, thanks so much, man." Like, or if the celebrant actually takes the time to describe what's happening, I do this a lot of times with baptisms. It's super kind of casual.
Yeah.
Because I'm explaining what's happening, what these oils mean, why we do it this way. Okay, hey, this next prayer over the water is I want you to pay attention because it follows all of salvation history. Now it gets people cued in to like, it's not just rote prayers for some generation ages ago.
Yep.
And so I think if we can do what we can to give people a little bit of an insight and heads up on how to engage in this, and if they're like, "Oh, this is a point where I don't engage," then thank you for letting me know because I don't want to do something wrong.
Yep.
And those types of things are really helpful. We started, maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. We started to print up Mass pamphlets with all the readings in it for each Sunday for our 9 p.m. Mass. But then we put all of the prayers in it, all the Catholic prayers, and we started to bold the things that the people say and not bold the things the priests say, kind of homemade Magnificats.
Okay.
And we even had a page in there that says notes for the homily so that our students can take notes during the homily and things like that, take it home with them. But having that in their hand has made our Mass so more evangelical.
Nice.
Because our students are inviting their roommates, their Protestant friends or whatever, and they can hand this to them. Hey, look, you have the same thing I have, but it has everything for you to pray. Because if you go to Mass and nobody knows, it seems like everybody knows this response. How did they learn that? Where's that coming from? I don't know.
Yeah.
And so having little things, like you said, a Magnificat to hand to them and say, hey, this is how you follow along and learn these prayers with us.
Yeah.
That has made a huge difference in making the Mass evangelical and invitational.
Father Bonaventure, if you had to choose between getting Warby Parker glasses, subscribing to a YouTube channel, or flossing your teeth, what would you choose?
Oof. I guess, to be honest, subscribing to a YouTube channel.
See, folks, it's not as bad as flossing your teeth or getting Warby Parker glasses. Please subscribe to Godsplaining. Cheers.